Get started. Hello, my name is Cheyenne Smith, and I'm the High Ability Learning Specialist at NDE. And so I'm the person who all your communication comes from. And you may see my email, Cheyenne Meadows. I was recently married, so my new last name is Smith. So same person, but that's who all the communication is coming from. I'm so excited to see all of you here today and all of you who will be watching this recording. We had over 160 parents and families sign up for this event. And so it is amazing to see the support and amazing things going on across Nebraska with families and educators. And we are just so lucky to be in such a great state. So I'm going to talk tonight. We're going to talk about planning for summer. So we know that during the school year, maybe our high ability learners don't quite receive the challenge that we would expect or that they need out of the school day. And so when we think about planning for summer, there are a lot of opportunities for high ability students. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And you're not going to hear about it from me for the most part. We've got people coming in from all over the country to talk to you about online and in-person offerings for programs for high ability students. So something I always like to start with is, what are the characteristics of a high ability learner? And you probably see these a lot in your own children at home. So there are kids who memorize things easily. They're verbally proficient. So maybe you're able to have a conversation with them or sustain a conversation well above what we expect from their age level. Maybe that is advanced vocabulary. A lot of times they want to talk to older kids or adults because they feel like they relate to them better. Sometimes they have that unusual imagination. They can make up really detailed and creative stories, and maybe they're really into imaginative play. They are usually really deeply interested in a single area. So maybe you have a student who will only read books about dinosaurs and look at things on the internet and all these different things and can tell you everything there is to know about dinosaurs. Or maybe you have a student who is interested in everything. They can't stay on one topic for more than 10 minutes or one interest for a very long time because they just have this need to learn and to gather as much information as possible. Sometimes our high ability students can be creative and inventive. So maybe you have a student who's always taking things apart or trying to build new things, putting things back together. They like to do the Legos and all those different kinds of things. Or again, very creative, writing stories, drawing, performing arts. A lot of times our high ability learners are usually really sensitive. Some of you may resonate with this if your child takes criticism very personally, or maybe what is seemingly small to us can cause a meltdown and tears. They have a lot of empathy for others, and so they feel really strongly, a strong sense of justice, and they feel all of that just so intensely that to us it can look like an overreaction. But a lot of times, again, they're very sensitive kids. And they're often very curious. So they're the kid, if you're a teacher, they're going to ask a lot of questions, even of parents. They always want to know the why of what they're doing. They want to know what makes things tick. And so they ask a lot of questions. Some of these may also look familiar. There are characteristics of high ability and gifted students that may not be what we typically expect from kind of what's portrayed as a gifted student. We know that a lot of times in education and in popular media, gifted students or high ability students are portrayed as kind of the model student and the teacher pleaser and well-behaved and always on top of their work. But we know that that's just a myth. That's not always true. And so some of these characteristics of our gifted students can elicit phone calls home. So maybe you're getting calls from teachers about misbehaviors in class. Maybe your student is doing poorly on their grades because they're refusing to do their homework. Maybe homework is such a task and a fight every night because they're so bored and they don't understand why they have to continue to do a repetitive task that they already understand. Sometimes they'll have difficulty changing topics, especially if they're talking about something they're interested in. That shift to another topic, especially one that they don't want to do, can be really difficult. A lot of times they're impatient with others. This can look in the classroom like being impatient with their peers who maybe don't learn as quickly as them, or maybe don't get it, or don't understand on the level that they understand. And so they have that really hard time communicating. Maybe that looks like impatience with adults as well. and just this general sense of urgency, and that's not always matched by others. A lot of times they question adults, and this isn't always an insubordination or some way to, to be defiant, but it really is. A lot of times they want to know why they're doing what they're doing, and they want to be able to put value to that. And so they ask a lot of questions of adults, and especially in the classroom setting, that can look really bad if you're questioning and or correcting the teacher. I don't know how many calls I'm sure you've gotten about maybe your child correcting the teacher. I know when I was a teacher of gifted students, I had a lot of kids correcting me all the time. Again, because they're really sensitive, some things can look like an overreaction. Something that's really minor to us, again, feels like the end of the world to them, and they truly feel it so much deeper than that of their non-gifted peers. And so this big blow up meltdown over something so seemingly small can look like a behavior in the classroom. They can be really stubborn. I'm sure if you've ever said to your child, you should be a lawyer because you love to argue, that is one that we hear a lot. They can be just really stubborn with authority. They can be bossy, especially you can see it with siblings, you can see it with peers. A lot of times they want to dominate conversation with what they want to talk about. And that can look also like on the playground, trying to make all the other kids play this really convoluted and creative game that only they know what's going on. And that can cause some social isolation and inability to communicate with peers. And maybe they're that kid who, when you go to the parent-teacher conference, they mention that they always come up and talk to the teacher. Maybe they follow the teacher around and want to talk to them because they want to talk to somebody who they perceive is on a closer level cognitively than maybe their peers who don't quite understand what they want to talk about. And so maybe the teacher is mentioned, they want to come up and talk to me all the time. And this is really important. A lot of times, some of those negative things we see in the classroom can have our students referred for behavioral plans or screened for some kind of emotional behavioral disorder, maybe entered into special education. Some students I know when I was teaching in Tennessee had IEPs for emotional and behavioral problems. And so we have to ask ourselves sometimes, why are they displaying these problems? And if it's because they're bored, because they're not challenged, because they don't feel like they belong in school, that can be really difficult, because how do we solve that with a behavioral plan? We're not actually solving the root cause. And so underachievement can be a really big problem with our gifted kids. So we know they're really smart and we know that they can perform at this really high level, but maybe their grades are poor and they're not turning in work because they don't care about school or what they're learning in the classroom because they find it to be so boring. Maybe they develop that poor attitude towards school. And that can look like maybe they're anxious to go to school and you have to pull teeth to get them to go in the first place. Maybe that's school-based anxiety. Maybe that's chronic absenteeism because they make themselves sick, worried sick to go to school. They can struggle with social isolation. Again, sometimes they have a problem communicating with their peers. And so in that way, maybe the other kids think they're weird or different, or they feel that way. And so it can be really difficult sometimes for high ability students to make friends. And again, these are not, this is not every student. These are just general patterns that we found over the years through research and through the National Association. These are just the general patterns and they do not apply to every student in every way. Again, a lot of times if a student is bored, we have our students who will get out their books and read and entertain themselves and do whatever that they find interesting. But we also have students who they're going to find something to do, whether it's what we want them to do or not. And so boredom in the classroom, again, can lead to that disruptive behavior that then gets a call home or a referral to the office or lunch detention or those different kinds of things, or losing recess. And so that all these kinds of things are cyclic, and then they develop that poor attitude towards school because I'm always in trouble and I'm bored and I don't get to go to recess because I'm in trouble. And so it's a little cyclic. And so sometimes we have some of these struggles with our high ability students in school. And again, this is not all students, this is just a generalization, but some of you may really resonate with some of these different things. So that is part of why we talk about summer programming. Summer programs for high ability students are generally some kind of enriched academic curriculum, accelerated. Usually it's well above grade level. It's very specific in an interest area. It's at a faster pace. And a lot of times is with content experts. And what that means, and you're going to hear a little bit from other people tonight, is that it's a professor or a doc student or somebody else who only does STEM or these different kinds of things. They're generally not a teacher. And so they're really strong experts in a content area instead of being a K-12 teacher. And so they not only get to interact with a content expert, they also get to interact with like-minded peers. And that can be really important because these summer programs for high ability students a lot of times only admit high ability students. And so they are meeting with students who think like they do, and they're not weird or different. They feel like they fit in these programs. They provide a supportive environment. Again, all of these environments are made specifically for gifted students, and so there are supports in place to help our gifted students when they meet challenging experiences or when they finally, are with peers that are like them. And so and a lot of times it's interest-based. It's very specific in science or math, or very specific in ELA and history and humanities. And so students get to really dig deep in an area that they're interested in. And research shows a lot of positive impacts on summer programming. A lot of times the students feel like they belong and that they're accepted because they're with peers that are like them and get them, and they're not the different one or the weird one. A lot of times they enjoy that academic challenge. Again, they don't get that in school, and they're probably interested in whatever they're studying at the summer program. And so it increases their self-concept and their motivation. A lot of times it sparks their interest in learning again. It can improve achievement in some students. It can also reverse underachievement behaviors in some cases. So maybe sending them to these summer programs, again, they get that spark again, and they're able to kind of understand what they need to do in order to achieve and to make it to the next level, especially when they get into the secondary and getting ready for college. I can tell you that I personally worked in a summer program that you're going to hear from tonight, and seeing the kids in these environments with content experts, with people who are like them, is so powerful. And they always walk away from it saying how much they enjoyed being able to make friends and being able to study these really intense topics that they're interested in. And they always can't wait to come back, and they wish that school was like this. And so having personally worked in these programs has been such an impact on me and my practice. And so I want to be able to share all of that with the people in Nebraska. And I want you guys to be able to have the resources to find these programs and to send some of your high ability students to these programs as well. So the first program that we're going to talk about, Ashley Donathan from the University of Iowa was not able to make it tonight. So I will be taking over and telling you guys a little bit about what they do at the Bell & Blank Center. For those of you who aren't familiar, the Bell & Blank Center is at the University of Iowa, and they, let me switch my screens around. So the Bell & Blank Center at the University of Iowa is right over in Iowa City. It is the closest center we have to us here in Nebraska. And they specialize in gifted and talented students. They don't just do summer programming, they do so many different things for gifted students. Actually, there's an About Us slide that Ashley gave me. A lot of times they do identification. They offer that specialized programming. They do a lot of professional learning and research at the Bell & Blank Center as well. They have a counseling center. They have so many great resources and promote access for developing talent for gifted learners. So the University of Iowa has a really strong presence in the field of gifted. They have some elementary programs. So they have what's called the Bell & Blank Exceptional Student Talent Search. And that is an above level test they give to students to uncover information about their academic abilities and learning needs. So this is primarily for parents and teachers to discover what a student needs. This is 4th through 6th grade. Students can take the test online, and then teachers can arrange a test group of 4 or more students in their school to give this test, and it just gives really great diagnostic academic information about students and exactly where they're at in terms of the different subject areas. They also offer advanced computer science. This is a grade 4 through 6 program. It's an online program. It's an introductory course based on MIT curriculum for K-12, designed to help students explore artificial intelligence. It's offered in collaboration with Project STEM and is designed around engaging activities and learning units that integrate computer science and computational thinking. And students explore how to use these technologies to help solve problems and improve life. Again, that's an online program, and all of this information will go out in an email to anyone registered and watching this recording as well. And they also have what's called the Junior Scholars Academy, and that is an on-campus experience where students come and they take classes during the day in a specific subject area or specific content area. And that is in June, generally for a week, or they may offer 2 weeks of it in June. And that is all that information's on their website. I apologize, I'm not as familiar with this. Ashley had a personal emergency this afternoon. So they also offer things for middle schoolers as well. Again, the students can do the Bell and Blank Exceptional Student Talent Search through the 6th grade. They have a computer science fundamentals class for middle schoolers. That's students in grade 7 through 9 who like to learn on their own with access to an expert to answer their questions along the way. It is a work at your own pace, whenever, wherever you want, without worrying about class time or a grade. So it's just a really great opportunity for your student to explore computer science and computer science programming with the help of someone if they would need it. They also offer a workshop for young writers. This is an online program for students in grades 6 through 8 to learn and grow as writers. They explore genres, strengthen their writing techniques, and enjoy a community of young authors. It's an intensive class that requires some commitment over 5 days. So while it is online, they do have to commit a whole day, every day for 5 days to being online working on this program. Additionally, there are high school programs. There is a program that allows students who are ready to enter into college earlier than a traditional path by most students. They have a residential program with weekly meetings and group meetings, planned events. You can earn scholarships. The online application is now open. There are student and family interviews, and this is again to admit a student who is ready for college, but maybe is not a senior in high school, early admittance to college. They have an Academy for Twice Exceptional, and so that's a student-centered collaborative community for students who have a disability and are high ability. 2E learners demonstrate the potential for high achievement or creative productivity in one or more domains. Will have access to support, assistance, provide interpersonal and organizational skills, foster a sense of community, and capitalize on expertise from the Bell and Blank Center. The Perry Research Scholar Institute is grades 9 through 10. They will meet researchers across different fields and be able to talk with them as mentors about what it takes to design a proper research project. Secondary Student Training Program is a highly selective summer research program for students in grade 10 through 11. The students conduct a research project under a mentorship of a world-class faculty. And then the Summer Online Writing Program is the high school version of the 5-day online intensive workshop for students who are interested in pursuing careers in writing. That was all really fast. Again, I'm sure that if you email bellandblank@uiowa.edu for any additional information, Ashley is a really great contact. She knows so much about these different programs if you're interested. A lot of these are offered not only in person, on campus, but online as well. And so University of Iowa is a really great resource for those who are interested in sending their child there. Okay, next we are going to invite Dr. Sarah Delisle-Fecht from Vanderbilt Programs for Talented Youth up to talk about Vanderbilt Programs for Talented Youth.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Cheyenne. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can we see it, Cheyenne? We good? Wonderful. So I'm Sarah Delisle-Fecht. I'm the Executive Director at Vanderbilt Programs for Talented Youth. And if you are unfamiliar with us, we are a department on Peabody College of Education's campus at Vanderbilt. And our mission at Programs for Talented Youth is to develop talent and gifted students and those who work with them. So we offer a variety of programs, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit tonight about those programs. I want to focus specifically on our summer opportunities, although we do have some opportunities that meet on Saturdays in the fall and spring, as well as online. So feel free to reach out to me or to look at our website if you have questions about opportunities that meet during the academic year. So to start off, just to give you a bit of an overview of the programs and the types of programs that we offer programs kindergarten through 12th grade. Our K through 6th grade programs are known as SAVI, which stand for Summer or Saturday Academy at Vanderbilt for the Young. We also have middle school programs for students. Career Connections at Savvy is one of our programs, as well as WAVU, Weekend Academy at Vanderbilt University. And then we have middle and high school programs through our residential Vanderbilt Summer Academy program, and we have an online program for high school students. Being situated on the College of Education at Vanderbilt means that everything we do is based on what we know works with research and working with advanced students. And so we base our programs off the 3 E's of talent development, this idea of exposure, efficacy, and expertise, meaning that we know that really advanced students in developing their talent need exposure to areas to identify their areas of interest. So we know that students who are advanced might have a lot of interest and be good at a lot of things. And so we want to early on help students see that there are different opportunities, different pathways, by giving them chances to take classes in areas that they might not have exposure to in their traditional curriculum in school. For example, our 3rd and 4th graders sometimes will take a genetics class. They might not take a genetics class until middle school, but we want to expose them at an earlier age to certain ideas or topics, or a psychology class. So exposure can happen in our programs at that elementary level. We also know for some students, it may happen at the middle or high school level. So our programs are geared toward this understanding. For some of our high school students, they may be taking our Med School 101 summer class, and they might just be at the exposure level. They may have watched some TV shows about focused in hospitals and think, hey, I want to be a doctor. That's maybe the only experience they have with medicine. They may not have family members that are involved in medicine. And so they're at that exposure level. The idea is that for our older students, some of our students have already had that introduction. They've already fallen in love with a particular topic, and they're ready to think about efficacy or expertise. So efficacy meaning, okay, we've fallen in love with it, we're good at it. Now let's add some challenge. Let's make it really hard, and let's talk through, how do we dig in? What does that look like? What do these really career exploration experiences? What is that? And then expertise is, of course, pairing individuals with more knowledgeable others. So mentors in the field, individuals that have the content expertise to take an advanced student even further. We know that sometimes it takes a doctoral student or a professor to be able to go to the level of depth that some of our advanced students are ready for. So that's kind of the continuum of how we think about program design within our department. So for our summer programs, those are the ones that are circled. We have Summer Academy at Vanderbilt for the Young for our elementary students, our rising 1st through 6th grade students. We have Career Connections at Savvy, which is a day program for rising 7th and 8th grade students. We have our Vanderbilt Summer Academy, which is a residential experience starting at rising 7th grade that goes to rising 12th. And then we have Mentor Immersion, which is an online program for rising juniors and seniors in the summer. It also meets in the school year in a different cohort. And I'm going to go in depth into each of these programs in just a moment. Before I kind of focus on each program, I do want to mention that we are committed as a department to making programs available to academically advanced students, regardless of a family's ability to pay full tuition. We do have a tuition for our programs, but we also have financial assistance available. And we are need blind during our admissions review process, meaning that we will place students in classes and then we will say, did the student apply for financial assistance? So it doesn't hurt a family or a student to apply for financial assistance. It doesn't hurt their chances of admission. And you can apply for financial aid at any point in the application process. So some of our families choose to apply when they're applying for admission. Other families may choose to, maybe your circumstances change, or later on you're looking at your family budget and thinking, oh, you know what, we really should have applied for financial assistance. You can go back and apply even after you have been admitted. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about Summer Academy at Vanderbilt for the Young. And within that program, we also have Career Connections at Savvy. And remember, our Summer Academy at Vanderbilt for the Young serves gifted and high achieving students in the summer in rising 1st through 6th grade. So in the school year, we have kindergarten through 6th grade. And in the summer, it's rising 7th through 8th. Are served as well through our Career Connections program. And you may be thinking, hey, this is a day program that is in Nashville. That doesn't seem like that applies to me. But just so that you're aware, in summer of 2022, so this past summer, we had students from 17 states. So a lot of families have personal connections to Nashville, or there's a lot of Airbnbs here in town. Nashville is a very fun city. So know that we do have students participate in our younger program that are not local. We have students from a lot of different areas if you are interested in this particular program. To give you an idea, we have 6 one-week programs for our K-6 and 7th, 8th. They meet throughout the summer. As you can see, we have 3 one-week programs in June and 3 one-week programs in July. The students may attend 1 or more weeks. So some students may attend multiple weeks of summer. Other students may be one and done. We see students who may attend session 1 and come back and attend session 5 because there's a class that they are really interested in that other session. So we're flexible with attendance in different sessions. A schedule for the day. So arrival is a car rider line typically, or you can walk up with your student if you're staying in an area hotel or you don't have a car in town. And then we offer our accelerated course in the morning. Students have a 30-minute organized recreational activity period it's like team building games to build class community with each other. They have a 30-minute lunch and then they'll continue their accelerated course. And then dismissal is from 3:45 to 4 o'clock. If you're interested in applying, the biggest recommendation I can give you is to mark on your calendar January 5th through the 13th. This is the priority application window. And what that means is that any application that we receive during that window will have equal chance of admission into our programs. I always recommend that families who are interested in participating and have some flexibility within their schedule to apply to as many sessions as you might be interested, because it's a lot easier to cancel a session if you're placed in it than to add a session later on. Because what we'll do is once that window ends, we'll take all the applications that we receive for session 1 and we will randomize them. And then we go to the top of the list and we say, is the student that applied first on that list, are they eligible, and what class are they interested in? And we'll place them in the class if they're eligible. We'll do the same thing for all 6 sessions. So that might mean if you apply for multiple sessions, you're first on the randomization in session 1 and you're 200th in session 2. So to kind of maximize your chances of placement, if that is your ultimate goal, is to have a week with us in town, I would recommend applying for multiple sessions. I will say that there are different classes in each session, and we will be posting classes next week, December 14th. All of our classes go live. And so you will want to look on our website. You'll have a little bit of time to look at the website, look at the classes, think about your schedules for the summer, because each week has different opportunities. And there may be some weeks where your student isn't interested in the class opportunities that we have available that week. And that's perfectly fine. We completely understand that. But I would recommend not applying for that week if your student is not interested in the classes that we have available. We typically have 2 to 3 options per week for classes, and you can also rank classes for the week. So if you're wanting to come to session 1 and there are 3 options, you can rank them as your first choice, second choice, third choice. If your student we're unable to place them in their first choice, we would go to the second choice and see if we were able to place them there. If a spot were to open up in your student's first choice class, we would automatically move them to their first choice. We're always trying to get students into their first choice or what they're interested in. So ranking courses also doesn't hurt your chances of getting a student into a top choice class. So here's a little bit more about the admissions process. If you're a visual person, there is a $50 non-refundable application fee, but you can apply for 1 or more sessions with that application fee. So it's not $50 per session. You can apply for all 6 sessions if you're interested in applying for all 6 with that 1 application fee. You'll rank those courses based on interest. As part of the application, you'll upload qualifying documents, and we're typically looking for scores around the 90th percentile or above on a standardized test. Although we understand that there are multiple ways to show advanced understanding, and so please contact our office if you have questions or if you're having trouble accessing the test documents, and we can talk through that. You're also able to upload your financial documents if you are applying for financial aid at the time that you are submitting your application. So you'll want to do all of these things within that window of January 5th through the 13th. And it will not hurt, again, if you don't submit your financial aid documents at that time, but you'll want to make sure that you have ranked your courses, that you have submitted your qualifying test documents, because when that window closes, all complete applications are the applications that we will review it as part of the window. So just a few key dates for summer for Savvy. There again, that priority window is so important. For some of our classes, it will fill up during that window, and we will not have spots open up after that window closes. So those are for really popular choice classes. So I do recommend getting in that application. I will note that applying during the window doesn't guarantee that you'll be placed in, or that your student will be placed in the class that they are interested in, but it does significantly increase your chances. Also, if we come out of that window and we see that there was a really popular class and we have a waiting list already for a particular class, just know that we're always looking at that and trying to look at whether we can open up an additional section of a class, because we love to support as many students as we can through our programs who are interested in learning a particular topic. So after that window closes, then we continue, say you missed the window, we continue to accept applications on a rolling basis and we'll send out admissions notifications typically 3 to 4 weeks after we receive an application. But anyone who applies during the window, you can expect to hear from us by February 15th. And then anyone who applies after, typically 3 to 4 weeks to process applications. March 15th is when our summer tuition is due for previously admitted families. So say you apply and your student is placed on a waiting list, know that March 15th is a key date for you as well, because at that point, we may have spots open up and we may be back in contact with you saying, are you still interested? And then we'll also have required forms that are due at that time. We have payment plans available as well. So if you're applying for our programs and you would rather stretch out that payment a bit more and make some monthly payments, we completely understand that. We just ask that all payment tuition be fully paid by June 1st, but you can do that all through our online system. It makes it really easy for busy parents. So next we'll talk about Vanderbilt Summer Academy, and that is our residential experience for rising 7th through 12th grade students. For this particular program, we have different linked sessions based on a child's grade level. So I would recommend looking on our website, and I'll share with you the dates for our particular grade levels in a moment. But looking on our website to see those dates as well. We have a 4-night program for 7th and 8th graders. We have a week-long program for 9th and 10th graders. We have multiple options for week-long programs for 11th and 12th graders, and we also have a 2-week 11th and 12th grade program where students will spend a weekend with us in addition to taking class those Monday through Friday for those other two weeks. So in terms of our VSA experience, we really are thoughtful about providing a balance between that intense academic environment, but also that residential component. We know, like Cheyenne said, that it's very important for our advanced students to be in classes with likability peers. We find it very normalizing for a lot of these kids. Some of our students keep in contact with the friends that they make in either our Savvy program or our VSA program, and perhaps they're their closest friend that they have throughout their elementary, middle, or high school years. I've had some parents tell me that these friendships continue on into college and beyond. So we're really thoughtful about creating that intense academic experience for our students where they can connect with likability peers and go deep into a content area. But also for our VSA program, we're really intentional about thinking, how do we design a program that encourages community and the residential side of the program? So in the summer of 2022, here at Vanderbilt, we had students from 41 states and 11 countries represented at Vanderbilt Summer Academy. We believe that this adds to the community in so many ways. When a roommate is from another state and has different experiences, we find that really exciting for our advanced students. So what do we mean by that intense academic environment for VSA? Well, students will take an accelerated course with instructors drawn from talent here at Vanderbilt or from within the Nashville community. So a lot of our instructors are Vanderbilt doctoral students, Vanderbilt faculty, or faculty at other universities. One of the things that I love about our VSA program is that when we post those courses next week, you will get to also read the bios of who is teaching for our program for Vanderbilt Summer Academy. So a lot of our students say, I was really drawn to the area of research that my instructor is involved in. I Googled them and it just seems really interesting. So know that those bios are posted with our courses so students can view that. They're also designed to be accelerated, to meet the needs of gifted and high ability students. And know that students are spending about 6 hours a day in their classroom. So that means that they're going to be able to go deep into the content area that they're studying. What that also means is you want to make sure that students are signing up for a course that they think they love. It's okay if they don't love it, but they think that they might love based on the course description. One of the things that I talk to parents and students a lot about is, it's great when students come to our program and they say, I want to use that Med School 101 example that's really popular for our juniors and seniors. We have a lot of students that really want that class, and they come to the program, and we'll have some students that say, yes, this is exactly what I thought med school would be like. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is so cool. And then we'll have other students that say, it was a cool experience. I really liked it, but I was really interested in my roommate's class. They were talking about the neuroscience class that they were taking, and that seems more like what I might be interested in. So we say, you learn just as much from coming to a program and falling in love with a particular topic that you took as you do if you take a class and you realize, like, oh, this is cool, but maybe it's not. Maybe I don't want to be patient facing. Maybe I'm more interested in the research, and my roommate's class or my friend across the hall's class sounded much more interesting to me. How great is that to learn at the high school level because of that exposure piece, then committing a couple of years to studying that area in college, and then being like, okay, Mom, Dad, I'm ready to switch majors. I changed my mind. So we love when we have these opportunities to give students early exposure to these advanced areas, to give them a lot of support when it's really hard, and to help them see, is this something I'm really passionate about, or is this something that is interesting, but maybe my passion is in a different area. In terms of that community-driven residential experience, while we are academically focused, we know it's not only about that academic experience, and we believe that life outside of the classroom is really just as important in helping our students feel successful and feel excited about their summer experience. So we work really hard to create programming that enlightens and excites our VSA students when they are not in class. Just so that you all are aware, we do have a full-time staff here at Vanderbilt Programs for Talented Youth. Our director of VSA is a full-time staff member, as well as our assistant director, and they move into the dorms in the summer and live with the students. And when they're and I'll see them tomorrow in the office. So we are community-based. We have connections to Vanderbilt, and we are on campus with the students every day of the summer as well. A quick glance at the schedule. So you may wonder what a typical schedule for our residential program looks like. Students are typically at breakfast pretty early at 8 a.m. They'll head off to class at 8:45. They'll have a lunch break. Their breakfast and lunch all take place in the Commons, which is designed for first-year students at Vanderbilt. They live in the first-year residence halls, which are located right on Peabody College of Education. Very convenient for us, but it really is nice because they get a sneak peek at, like, what does college look like? They're in class for those 3 hours in the afternoon. And then they head, for our younger students, our 7th through 10th grade students, off to some interest clubs that are designed by the residential community of the residential staff that really focus on a variety of kind of special interests. They'll have some free time. We know free time is really important to our high school students, and then they'll head to dinner. In the evenings, they'll have recreational activities, and they'll meet with their proctor. And I'll talk for a moment about what that looks like, or what a proctor is. And then they'll have their room curfew and lights out, and head off to get some good sleep for the next day for another intense day of learning. So I know I'm running out of time, Cheyenne, but I'll wrap up really quickly. But our proctors are residential counselors, and they are specifically trained undergraduate and graduate students who live in the residence halls with our students and help support them throughout the program. So each student will be assigned a proctor group upon arrival, and they will do things with that proctor group throughout the week or the 2-week experience. That proctor is also their point of contact if they have any concerns or if they're homesick, or if they have any questions. And the proctor also helps build community among the group of students. In terms of our residential staff, as I mentioned, we have our leadership team includes full-time staff that move into the dorm and work closely with our residential proctors. And then we hire a lot of individuals to help support these students. Also, our assistant director within our office, who is a full-time staff member, also serves as our head of student support. Martina Johnson is a professional educator and has a background in counseling. And so we know that in a residential community with high ability students, anything can come up. And so Martina is there as a line of support to help families navigate, to help students navigate any social, emotional, physical needs that a student might need when participating in PTY programs. One of the things that I really value about our programs is that we do get to build connections with families. So Martina made over 400 phone calls last spring, calling families before the start of the program to see if they had any questions, to cover any information that might be helpful for us to know. And so that when students arrived to campus and families arrived to campus, they were able to connect with Martina, and they'd already had a conversation with her. And she plans to do the same thing as well. So there are optional phone calls for anyone who wants to connect with Martina about the residential experience or have additional questions before their students arrive. So really quickly, here are our dates for our programs. You can see that 7th and 8th grade program, 9th and 10th grade, and then we have a variety of 11th and 12th grade program options, and the costs are listed there. All of this is on our website. The other important thing to remember, this particular slide will look familiar. It's the same slide on our Savvy page because it is the same process. We have that priority application window. That randomization happens. We recommend applying during the window, and then we accept applications on a rolling basis after the window closes. But to increase your chances, you really should apply during the window. We do ask for a few additional components for our VSA application in addition to test scores. We also may ask for a transcript. It's recommended if test scores fall below what we are kind of looking for to determine fit, and you'll see all that information on our website. We really just want to make sure that an accelerated academic experience is going to be a good fit for a student and not a frustrating one. We also ask for students to submit an essay for our 9th through 12th grade programs. We think it's really important that students get in the practice of submitting essays. They will be applying for more things in the future that require that component. But those are the two differences, or the biggest differences between the Savvy application and our VSA application. And a similar timeline to Savvy, the only other difference is that we do have a non-refundable deposit due 1 week after the admission notification has been sent out. So think about those programs, and if you were placed, what that might mean, because we do have that 20% non-refundable application fee, or deposit, excuse me. And then finally, I just want to briefly mention our Mentor Immersion program. This is an online program. We have cohorts that meet in the fall, spring, and summer. Our summer program meets twice a week for 2 hours each meeting, for a total of 4 hours per week. And the meetings are typically on the weekends or evenings. So some of our students really appreciate this opportunity. Maybe they're doing an internship in the summer, or they're doing another program, or they don't want to travel. So this is an online opportunity. The meeting times are determined by the mentor of the program, and the mentor is typically a PhD student or Vanderbilt faculty, and it's posted with the description. So students will know when they apply, hey, I want to apply for this particular mentorship, this particular topic, and I know it meets these particular times. The idea is that students learn content in a very class setting that's smaller. It's typically 9 to 10 students. And then it all leads up to a culminating project that mimics the work of the field. So there are 2 summer cohort groups, one that meets May to August and one that meets June to September. And more information about our mentor immersion program is posted on our website. So I will stop there and Cheyenne, I don't know if we have time for questions or if there are any questions.
We do, actually, and there's one in
Okay.
the chat. Is there any way to take into account sibling groups for the admissions? For example, I have 2 elementary age gifted students and I want them to be admitted to the same week for logistics.
Yes, we typically do in the randomization process, consider families together if it's like the elementary program. So yes, that is part of our admissions process. And thanks so much for mentioning that. But that is something that happens quite often. We know that parents are busy and trying to manage multiple student schedules. So we do consider them, they would be given the same randomization number as part of the process. The only time we may see that that poses some challenges, say a student is in a rising first grade class that isn't as popular, and the rising 4th grade robotics class is super popular, and they have the same application number in the review process, but the kindergarten student is placed because there is availability, but the other student is not placed, but they are paired together when we review applications.
Yeah, that's a really great question. Does anybody else, I didn't see any other questions in the chat. Does anybody else have any questions for Sarah about programs for talented youth? All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Sarah. And the email is there. Please
Yes.
email them. They will get back to you for sure.
Yep.
With any additional questions.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. Yes, feel free to reach out. This is our general inbox, but you'll find all of our emails on the website, and we're happy to get you to the right person if you have additional questions, or feel free to pick up the phone as well. We're happy to schedule a phone call.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, I'm going to kick it over to Kristen Thorson from the National Inventors Hall of Fame.
All right, just checking. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. I also have Erin Adcock on here as well. The 2 of us are from the National Inventors Hall of Fame, and we just want to share a little bit about our programs that can be local to you in Nebraska. So I am actually coming to you from the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and I'm a longtime Camp Invention director, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. And then just a year ago, I was able to join NIF full time. So I'm excited to share my passion for invention education with all of you tonight. And I was a gifted facilitator as well. So I have worked with many parents over the years. Go ahead, Erin.
Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm Erin Adcock. I work with Kristen at the National Inventors Hall of Fame. I'm actually in Northeast Ohio at our headquarters, but Kristen and I work together on managing our programs in Nebraska. So we're actually in all 50 states, and we work with our partners and districts in Nebraska to put on Camp Invention.
We're going to have some slides. Hopefully they will work.
Yeah. Kristen, do you have them or you want me to pull them up?
You can pull them up.
Okay. Perfect. One moment here. Let me share my screen. Okay, you see my screen okay?
I can see it. All right. So we introduced ourselves so you know a little bit about us. We've been around for over 30 years. So we always say we had STEM before STEM was STEM. So we have this, and our flagship program is Camp Invention. So you maybe have heard about us, or maybe you have actually sent your child to our Camp Invention program. And just it was actually a gifted parent just like you that came to my community here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago that said, hey, I want something different for my child in the summer. And they had heard about Camp Invention, and so they brought it to our community. And so that's where, please know that you also can be empowered to say, hey, I heard about this. And then you would just work with us, and we would try and find a site locally if there is not one currently. So go ahead and advance, Erin. All right, so just what do you look for in summer opportunities? And I just want you to know, you probably look for a lot of different things. You just heard a crazy amount of information, which sounds really fascinating. So this is just kind of a quick review. But when we're looking for summer opportunities, go ahead, Erin, just go ahead and click through. Are you looking for hands-on? Are you looking for real-world role models for your gifted students? Are you looking for academic success, increased collaboration skills, opportunities to problem solve, or even problem find? We say we're a problem finder and problem solver with our programs. Are you looking for something that's STEM focused, or are you looking for some just dedicated time for your gifted student to create and explore new ideas, or are you looking for engaging and empowering experiences? And truly, we can check all of those boxes with our program with Camp Invention and all of our programs. We have more, but that's tonight as we're going to talk about our summer program.
Yes, so I'm gonna take over now and talk about Camp Invention, which we've been talking about. So as we had mentioned, Camp Invention, we have been having for over 30 years. Our founding and partnering organization is the United States Patent and Trademark Office. So we work in collaboration with them, and all of our programming, Camp is really founded on innovation and that invention education. So as I mentioned, we've had Camp for over 30 years. We're in all 50 states. Camp is a program geared towards K through 6 students and students entering K through 6th grades. And we work with local districts, local schools, and local educators to host camp locally to you and bring the program to your students. And then parents are able to register through our registration system. And it is taught by certified teachers and local teachers in your area as well. Camp is a new program each summer, so there are different modules with each camp program. We have an in-house education team that prepares all of this, and they're the experts that are creating and writing the curriculum. I'm going to show an overview of these 2 modules, and the next slide are the following 2 modules to make up this year's program Wonder. Invention Celebration and Catching Air. So Invention Celebration, the children are party planners and event planners. They create a musical instrument and build a party hat with a purpose. In Catching Air, the participants build their own skate park, and they get their own finger skateboard, so it works with velocity and physics. And then the other 2 modules this year are MimicBot and Pop-Up Venture. MimicBot, each of the participants receive a mimicking robot. They get to take it apart, see the inner workings of the robot, put it back together, and then can decorate it, make their own creature, make it look like themselves, make it look like anything else. And then when you talk to it, when they talk to it, it repeats back to you, so it mimics them. And Pop-Up Venture is a little more unique from what we've done in the past as well. It is students creating their own small business, a pop-up shop. And so they create a business plan, a marketing plan. There's a lot of finances involved with it. So this is really the entrepreneurial side of the innovation and invention and everything. So the kids get like a little credit card they can use to buy licenses and things like that to create their pop-up shop and start their shop. On this slide, this is an overview video of all 4 of those modules. It's a brief video, so we're going to play this because I think it's more effective than me just telling you about each of the modules. So Kristen, will you let me know if you can hear it, the volume, whenever I press play?
It's really soft, but maybe it's me.
What you were going to do this summer? Invention, that's what. Come on, I'll show you.
You hear it?
You can be a super skater dropping into your own skate park. An awesome entrepreneur popping up a new shop. A grand event planner throwing a party that won't stop. And a confident creator transforming your own mimic bot. Get ready to stretch your imagination and make new friends. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up for Camp Invention today.
So that is, like I said, the overview of this year's modules. So all of the participants that sign up for camp get to participate in each of those modules and get some of those take-home items that they get to continue on with after the camp has finished as well. And then just to hit on this as well, our proven benefits. So again, having Camp Invention for over 30 years, we have a lot of research and a lot of data that we've compiled about the benefits of our program and the benefits of Camp Invention. And just some overarching highlights, we have shown through our research that it really improves children's creativity, their collaboration, their teamwork. It also reaches female and minority students to help create that STEM and innovation mindset and get them in that mindset as well. So we have a lot of proven benefits for Camp Invention too through our research.
And one of the things before I hit this slide was going back to that role models, is that embedded in all of our programs. So there actually is, if you are ever in Alexandria, Virginia, I encourage you that at the US Patent and Trademark Office, we actually have a museum. It is free to enter. So it is really nice, especially for your gifted students, to go in there, see those role models, those inventors that have been inducted in our Hall of Fame. And then what our education team does is they sit down with all those inventors. That's where Erin mentioned our education team. They have firsthand knowledge from those inventors of what works, what was that kind of sparked you to get to that level of entrepreneurship and getting a patent and all of those things. And so throughout all of our programs, that type of language is embedded in it. So the kids just naturally start talking about that. So ultimately, that's where your students really find success with that. But I'm also going to, now on this slide, I wanted to encourage you to go to our website. So you can see we have a very simple website to remember, invent.org. And when you get there, Erin's actually going to go live right now to our website, so you can see it more than just this image. But when you get to our website, first thing is, are you interested? So Erin right now is working to find different sites across Nebraska. So that's where there are new sites getting added all of the time. So if you click up there where it's the green button where it says register for Camp Invention, if you click on that and you type in locally where you are in Nebraska and you do not have a site locally, that's where we encourage you to reach out to Erin and say, hey, Erin, I heard your presentation. How can we get Camp Invention in XYZ community? Because then she's going to try and work with you to find a site. And it might not even be a school. It could be a community organization, a community-based school or community-based organization where they might have the space to host a camp. And so that's where you can get really creative with Erin and finding a site. So that's first step, is that if you are interested to learn more and you want to see if there's a program nearby, this is where you would go on the website. And then the other thing on our website that I wanted to point out is that you see the families, that there is a whole connection there, that you can learn about programs, whether it's Camp Invention, or we have an after school program, Club Invention. We also then, when we're talking about middle school and high school, we have some leadership opportunities in those communities. So maybe you have a middle school student and you want to see, get them into a leadership role with this Camp Invention experience. So again, you would go to that site, register, see if there's a local community. And then the reality is that then your child could become a leader in training in middle school, or in high school, we have a volunteer program for we call leadership interns. And what's really nice is those kids, those high school and college kids, get not only volunteer hours, which they need, but then especially your gifted students then have an opportunity to mentor the younger students in this invention experience. So it's a really great experience for all kids. And then the last thing, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, could you tell us really quickly where you're already at in Nebraska?
Yes, Erin can say, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So currently we are really concentrated in like greater Omaha, suburbs of Omaha. So some of our current camp districts are Bennington. We also work with Gretna. In Columbus, Nebraska, we have a camp that's hosted not at Columbus schools, but actually at the community college in town. We also have worked with Plattsmouth in the past. Blair has had a camp in the past as well. We're still in the process. Currently, right now, we're still sending on camps to run for next summer. So we're still in the process of reaching out to those districts and getting it implemented and started and everything. But as more camps are signed on, they will be added on to our website. So when you go into search to see if there's a local camp near you, that's where, as soon as they're signed on, they get added on to our website for parents to see.
Thank you, Cheyenne, for asking that question. The last thing on our website that I want to just point out to you as parents are we have some free resources. So if you click up there, it says learning resources. So we offer this to our educators, but we also offer this to our gifted parents, because on there you'll see that we have a handbook with all the STEM activities ready to go. Plus we have other learning activities. Plus if you follow us on social media, whether it's Twitter, or Facebook, we're constantly posting activities for kids to do at home. So just keep that in mind as well, is that we encourage you, if nothing at all, is at least follow us on social media or take a look at our website, because you'll really find a lot of information. And like I said, just from my own experience, I started this program because of a gifted parent, and all of my gifted students started coming to the program, and they just loved it. They stayed with me all the way through. They were coming back in college as leadership interns just because they love that community. Like the previous speaker was talking about, you know, that community of where, yes, there may be like-minded children and there's other children there, but they, you know, the gifted students find each other and then they can have those conversations within the camp. So that's all we have for now. Again, we appreciate Cheyenne welcoming us and allowing us to talk to you. Oh, Erin, show that last screen, because it does have our contact information. I apologize, Erin.
Yep, sorry, let me share.
So that if you wanted to reach out to us, you have, so this is where, if you see Erin's email address, if you scan that code, that if you want to talk to her and say, hey, how do I get a camp in my area? I looked at your website and there's not one, or I put my contact information, I will tell you, I know we were focusing on summer for tonight, but just a little tidbit, we do have a lot of other programs, and we have even like parent organizations that during the school year are saying maybe an after school club, or maybe you're putting together a Super Saturday type experience. So please know that we are here for you, and that we truly, all of our programs are top notch, and we know your kids would love them.
Thank you so much, Erin and Kristen. Does anybody have any questions for our guests from the National Inventors Hall of Fame?
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, we have Monica Hutflis coming to us from right here in Nebraska, and she's going to talk to you guys about the Nebraska Association for Gifted.
Hey, thank you so much, Cheyenne. I'm Monica Hutflis, and I am Vice President of the Nebraska Association for Gifted. And just like Cheyenne mentioned, we are a local organization. We have board members from across the entire state of Nebraska. And so right now I'm going to share my screen and just allow you an opportunity just to take a look at some of the information that I wanted to share on behalf of the board tonight. So first of all, what I'd like to do is just take you first of all to our Any Gifted website, and we're in the process right now of making some updates. So the web address has changed a bit. We're at anygifted.constantcontacts, our constantcontactsites.com. And if for those of you that may or may not be aware, we are a local nonprofit organization, and I'm going to go ahead and click here on some of our board members. We're, like I mentioned just a second ago, nonprofit, and we have members from across the entire state of Nebraska. So I'm fortunate to work with lots of lovely individuals from across Nebraska. Many of us are educators or have the educational background. Some of us are also gifted parents as well. And so you can kind of see here that we just have a lot of variety of board members that are present that help with this organization. So what our big event is we're really well known for our conference. And I wanted to mention tonight, so that you're aware of this, that we do have our yearly conference scheduled for Wednesday, February 15th. And it will be actually here in Omaha at ESU 3 in La Vista. It will be from 9 to 4 p.m. And our conference, we really try to target sessions for educators, for our HAL educators, for our HAL parents, for anyone in the community that's interested in learning more about how to support gifted learners. So it's a really awesome opportunity to support a local nonprofit organization and learn more about what's happening within the state. So we're really excited to announce that we're going to have Emily Kircher Morris be our main speaker. So she's going to help with our opening and also do a closing for us. But she is she's going to be our keynote. And she's really well known in the gifted world for her focus on neurodiversity. And if you're unfamiliar with that, as a parent or educator, it's just understanding that our gifted students, and I think Cheyenne touched on this a little bit earlier in their opening session, really can sometimes think and learn differently than others. And so how important it is to really understand the complexity that sometimes our gifted learners are faced with, whether they realize it or not, or maybe you as a parent can see that with your child. So again, we're really excited to have Emily come speak to us. She's got a background in education, and she currently lives in St. Louis. She's co-authored a lot of different books. Her main focus also tends to be on twice exceptionality. So for students that also have a learning disability such as ADHD or ADD, and also have gifted traits and qualities. So really trying to help that student navigate and understand their learning style and experience and how that best works for them. So if I actually have her website here listed too. She's really well known for her podcast. And if you're really interested in learning more about her, you can just go to her website. It's emilykirchermorris.com. And so she gives a little background about herself. She's not an educator currently at this time. She now focuses on educational counseling. And so she's in private practice, but you'll see that she has a list of podcasts. And I will tell you, she's really well known for this in the gifted world. And if you just kind of scroll through her website, you can see that she's got recordings all the way back from 2018 on her website, and just really awesome topics that really help you think about the needs of gifted learners and how to best support them. So again, we're really excited to have her be our keynote speaker. And right now, as a board, we're also in the process of going through some of we did have provide an opportunity for individuals to submit proposals for some of the additional sessions that we'll be hosting in addition to the keynote from Emily. So we're in the process of organizing that and getting that all together. You'll notice on our website that we do have the cost of registration. It is $150 per person, plus additional processing fees. And once that information is updated, we'll have our website ready to roll so that you can go on and if you're interested, register for the conference sessions. So I wanted to give you a little information about that. If you want to follow us on social media, like I've already talked about, we're at anygifted.constantcontactsites.com. We also are found on social media. So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you're interested in learning more, we also have monthly newsletters. So you can always reach out to our executive director, Kristen Jobe, at anygifted@gmail.com. And she can answer for any further questions that you might have if you want to be a part of those mailings. But just to know that you've got that support here in Nebraska as parents and educators. The other thing that I wanted to address too is recently we had a social event where we kind of showcase some, whether it's books, materials, things like that, that parents or educators have found helpful in working with gifted students. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with Christine Fonseca, but she was kind of a topic of conversation at our meet and greet. She presented for us at the Any Gifted conference last January, and she was one of our keynote speakers. And she also has a wealth of information in addition to what Emily has regarding the social emotional needs of gifted learners. And Christine's an educational psychologist. She's written lots of different books. And if you go to her website, which is christinefonseca.com, you can see all the different books that she has listed that she's published. She's an amazing educator, lots of great stories. She did a fabulous job at our conference last year, but she also writes books too. So when you kind of go through her list of books, like these right here are some books that she's written as part of her fictional series. So she kind of does that on the side as well. But some more of her educational books that are really amazing. There's one here called Healing of the Heart that just kind of helps you with your student, or whether it's your child or your student, with any educational concerns or questions that they might have. Lots of different books that just help support that. This one on emotional intensity is really good with our gifted learners. This is also a great resource that I found in education, working with gifted students to help with, as well as raising the shy child. And then there's another resource that isn't here, but here I'll kind of scroll ahead. And it's this one, 101 Secrets for Gifted Students, Success Secrets. So this is an amazing resource as well that I know I found helpful in working with gifted learners. So just giving you an additional resource and giving you a little insight as to some of the different individuals that we bring in for our conferences that kind of help with those gifted topics. As a nonprofit organization, we are also associated with the National Association for Gifted Learners. So our gifted children, we're an affiliate. And so I wanted to bring this to your attention as well, that if you're interested in learning more from the National Organization for Gifted Children, they've got lots of resources for parents. If you go to their main website, which is nagc.org, and you can click on different links for parents, just to kind of give you some information on some strategies to help as you're working with your gifted learners. And another great resource that we've also found as a board too is SING, which is supporting the emotional needs of gifted learners. They've got great resources for parents, webinars, parent support groups, lots of information that you can utilize too to help, whether you're an educator or a parent. So again, just some information just to let you know that we've got an update, our upcoming conference that's happening, and also let you know that there's lots of resources and you can always feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Monica about Nebraska Association for Gifted? All right, thanks, Monica.
You're welcome. Thanks, Cheyenne.
I am going to quick throw my email up on the screen so that you guys have it. My email is cheyenne.meadows@nebraska.gov. If you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, any additional information, please feel free to reach out to me. If I don't know the answer, I will find somebody who does. I will be sending out this recording to everybody who was registered for this event. So all 165 of you will be getting this recording from me, as well as any websites information that was shared with us tonight. I will have that as well and be able to disseminate that to you all. Thank you all so much for coming and for sticking with us through this event and learning all about these opportunities for your student, and have a great evening.